Thanks for staying with us now. Gender equity, according to the European Institute of Gender Equality, is the provision of fairness and justice in the distribution of benefits and responsibilities between women and men. The concept recognizes that women and men have different needs and power, and that these differences should be identified and addressed in a manner that rectifies the imbalances between the sexes. Now, this may include equal treatment or treatment that is different but considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. Now, though often used interchangeably, equality and equity are two very distinct concepts. The term gender equity has sometimes been used in a way that perpetuates stereotypes about women's role in society, suggesting that women should be treated fairly in accordance with the roles that they carry out. Now, these understandings risk perpetuating unequal gender relations and solidifying gender stereotypes that are detrimental to women. Therefore, the term should be used with caution to ensure it is not masking a reluctance to speak more openly about discrimination and inequality. So what are your thoughts on gender equity, and how can we begin to create an enabling environment for Nigerian women in leadership and business? Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-8038-4663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. So I'll bring in Maria in a second or two. But I just want to hear your quick thoughts on how you think we can begin to really embrace equity, amongst gender.
Okay, so first I would like to say, I love the fact that you already mentioned that there's a very big difference between equality and equity, right? I'm going to use a quick illustration as an example. So you're trying to get someone to get mangoes from the top of a tree, and you give everybody ladders, and you give them the same type of ladders. Now that's equality, right? Now equity is, okay, you're saying, oh, it's way taller than Chinelo is, so we'll definitely not need, her ladder doesn't have to be as tall as Chinelo's ladder. Now that's equity. So it's just providing for each person resources according to their unique capabilities. So that's why we've always had that problem of stereotypes and people saying, oh, you people are shouting equality, equality, equality. I mean, I'm glad that now we've realized that it's not equality, it's actually equity. And yeah, for that sake, I'm embracing equity.
Okay, oh, keep on embracing. How about you, Glory?
I think we have to get to that point where everyone has to accept the fact that women are actually also innovative, and we are also resilient, and we can actually contribute a lot to society's growth. I'll give an example. My organization, the organization I work with, is partly owned by a woman. It's been a bittersweet experience per se. So some of the contracts we've gotten comes from a side of curiosity. So people are curious. They want to know, an organization, can she deliver? So most times when we are invited for a pitch, it's not because, oh, we've seen an amazing organization. They just, okay, a woman-owned organization, so let's see what they have to say, or maybe just a pretty face, So when we actually go there and we show what we got and we actually deliver, they now take it back and be like, okay, so we can now do business. So I feel like we have to get to that point where we become very accepting to the fact that women are actually intelligent enough to handle specific roles, and also the fact that they should receive what they duly deserve, irrespective. So there are people like the What's in the News I just took, where you perform the same task, you do everything the same, but still you're paid lesser than your male count simply because you're even
delivering better.
You're even delivering better. So I think.
Or is it that the women work up is different from the male work up?
So we just have to be generally accepting.
Absolutely. Norma, let me hear your thoughts quickly. Norma, are you there? Oh, did we lose Norma? Oh, Norma, I think you're muted. All right, so while you're gathering your thoughts, let me bring in Maria Chike Benjamin. She's an accomplished realtor a reality star, former air hostess, and model known for her passion for helping others and her ability rather to connect with people from all walks of life. Maria is a graduate of Media and Performance from the University of Salford, where she graduated with a second-class upper division. She is also a dedicated philanthropist and a community leader, known for her volunteer work and commitment to giving back to the community. Might I add, she's a very pretty woman with a very, very intelligent brain. Hi, Maria. Thank you so much for joining us. You look amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure being on here.
Yeah, I mean, this conversation, first of all, today is International Women's Day, and it was important that we, first of all, featured someone that we know that over the years you have grown, you know, in terms of watching and seeing how far you're transitioning from one role to another, and you know, at every stage it seems that everything that you've been doing, you know, there's just been some level of success that's been recorded along the line. So it's always good to have women like that, you know, to speak with. So I mean, as if they say equity, the concept of equity, what would that mean to you as Maria? You know, given that I think it was Chinelo was mentioning pretty face. You're a very pretty face,
oh,
you know.
Thank you.
So but what would equity mean to you if we're talking about embracing equity, especially in the place where Nigeria, let's put Nigeria as case study, highly patriarchal, a lot of things, you know, it seems like, you know, you have to knock 100 times, you know, for a door that a man might just knock just once and all of that. So what would equity mean to you?
So it's Chinelo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She literally more or less took the words out my mouth when you did ask the question first. So yes, equity and equality, total different things. Again, it's the fact that yes, women are 100% capable of achieving even more than men can do. I solely believe that because we can do everything men can do, but men can't actually do everything we can do. But not just that, the fact that she mentioned equity. Equity to me is the fact that you might just slightly need a little bit of help, like she gave the illustration with the ladders or,
yes,
you know, climbing up. Doesn't mean I'm not capable of doing that job. I just need a little bit more support because of maybe my physique as a woman, or, you know, men are masculine and we're feminine. So in a way they look at us like, oh, you can't actually do this job. Like, you're tiny, you're petite, you're a woman, you're probably not that intelligent, or you got here through a means of X, Y, Z. So a lot of that, it would be nice to eradicate, not just in Nigeria, I think it's everywhere in the world. I do remember, you know, working in the UK and had the same salary did not have the same salary as a man that were in the same position, and I was actually delivering more because I wanted more, like I wanted to grow with the company, I needed promotion and stuff like that. So I was like more or less busting my, you know, and I wasn't just getting anywhere because I'm a woman at the end of the day. So we do need to like, for me, if you ask me how can we get rid of stuff like that, it'd be from home. It's cultural, it's family oriented. It would be your upbringing, first of all. You see in certain homes where the elder daughter, would be serving the younger brother just because, oh, he's the head of the house, like that's the first son of the house, and oh, you're the first daughter, or they'd push the men to go to school more than the females or stuff like that. So all of that, we need to put a stop to it and like.
So let me come to your career, because you've transitioned. I mean, I was glancing through your resume, you know, air hostess, realtor, so many businesses you've done. So if you say that you want to like look deeply into your careers over the years, the transitioning that has happened, do you think you have women that you can point to say these are the women, you know, that helped me through those ranks? Or is this something that you truly, you know, struggled on your own just to be, you know, to grow through all of those, you know, or transition through all those jobs that you had done as a businesswoman?
It would be a bit of both, if I'm being honest, and it'd be a bit of my family as well. You know, growing up, my dad would always say, you know, people don't really listen to you if you're not something of your own. So instead of him having to feed me all the time, he'd rather I do what I needed to do by myself, but observe and watch behind and advise. Or so in the sense, of inspirational women that I would look up to or I'd want to be like. There are a few, obviously a lot of black women, opera for instance. I saw on TV you guys had, when I was backstage watching, Ngozi Iweala, perfect, amazing example of someone that, you know, a lot of people should look up to. And the struggles in life, if we're being real and honest, is both genders most times, but it's a little bit more harder on women than it is on men. So yes, I did experience a lot of, for instance, when I worked as an air hostess for Emirates, you know, there are certain roles we weren't able to do. It was more or less, you know, you're being pampered as a lady, whereas the men are more, they seem confident or they seem stronger, but I wanted certain roles that I couldn't get. Just because, and then, in other parts of the world as well, it's totally different. For instance, the Arab country, they barely regard women as, you know, anything. I mean, it's slightly changing, but when I first moved to United Arab Emirates, it was like women are more seen as, homely, just get covered up, you can't really say much. And it affected my job as well, like the role in my job, because most of my seniors, when I first started, or the, the hierarchy, like the chain of command, they were all Arabs and mostly English as well. So the Arabs, you can't really say much or you can't demand certain things because they'd be like, you're a woman, you can't even ask for that. So it was hard. And so it's just a bit of both that you keep growing with and learning that you're strong. And you just have to, you are a strong woman and you just have to keep.
Julia, let me come to you.
Okay, so I'd love to like talk about privilege or beauty bias, right? First of all, do you think this is actually a thing? And how have you experienced it and how has that affected you as a woman?
I'd be lying if I sat here and say it's not a thing. It is a thing. It's never affected me. It's been a stereotype, if I'm being honest. But that, I haven't actually gotten anywhere, if I'm being completely honest, just because, I look a certain way, or maybe to other people, you're so beautiful, so we'll give you this. Not in the parts of the world that I grew up in. There are so many beautiful women. Mostly I feel like that happens a lot in Africa, Nigeria to be precise. Other countries, if you're being more, it's everywhere in the world, but mostly it's a thing in Nigeria, you know. But other parts of the world, sometimes it's a bit of both. Like you have to be beautiful and you know your stuff as well. So when you're speaking or when you're interacting with certain, level of caliber of people, you actually do know what you're talking about, or you are fit for the job. But mostly just in Nigeria, it's like, okay, we'll get you here, you're beautiful, that's it. We just need you to be beautiful. So there is a thing as pretty privileges. I don't want to believe it's gotten me anywhere, because I don't think I've used that card.
Are you sure about that?
If it did, I should be somewhere better than where I am now. But I'm not there yet. So, and I avoid stuff like that as well, because I want to work for what I've done. I don't want the glory of no glory, if you know what I mean. So I want my glory to be, I did this, and they can recognize that I did this. So I'm glorified.
Put in the work.
Yeah, and I'm glorified for that. So yeah.
Okay.
So I really want to know more about your venture into real estate, because from what I gathered, it's a male-dominated field. So how has that been, and how were you able to transition into real estate?
I was in real estate for a very short period of time. It was in Dubai. A lot of men are into it. You barely have women who are realtors. So it was a time when obviously COVID happened and I got made redundant with Emirates. So the next step was to look for another job, and immediately I really got with a great company. It was actually an English company, but the struggle was real, in the sense that there was no respect for time. People would call you whenever, weekends, weekdays, midnight, to go over certain contracts, or even ask you to send them pictures or videos of houses. But the male realtors were more, Okay, so a lot of Arabs would own buildings in Dubai, and they're the landlords and stuff like that. So they would look at me like, you're a woman, what are you doing in this field? So I wouldn't be listened to as much as the male would. So what I then did was be very friendly, overly friendly with my male colleagues, so they can introduce me to their landlords, and I can get a share of certain properties, and then because everything it's more like, okay, this is my region, that's your region. So it was hard at the beginning. I was probably not making any money because it's on commission basics and stuff like that, till I got the hinge of it and the gist of it, and I got a lot of landlords on my side. And I'm a chatty person, and I'm a very bubbly person, I believe.
Really?
So, yeah. And
so are you trying to be calm with us here? Because we need the bubbly.
Oh, okay. Well, we're asking serious questions. But
no, we can have fun while we're discussing serious things.
So, I did my little thing, and I got a lot of love, I'm not going to lie. So if that's where the privilege comes from, maybe. They did mistake me half of the times to be Arab because of the way I dressed back then. So yeah, I kind of succeeded in getting more properties under my name, and then I was selling and obviously renting as well. So then I started making money, and before I decided to move back to Nigeria.
Wow.
Yeah.
Norma, are you there now? Yes, we can. Muffled, but we're trying to hear you. Oh, you know what, Norma, hold that thought. Let's quickly go on a break, right? When we come back from the break, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're discussing gender equity for Nigerian women in leadership and business, and we still have with us Chike, Maria Chike Benjamin. Now, please remember you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at PlusTvAfrica1 with the hashtag WaveShow. All right, Norma, are you there now?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome, we can hear you clearly now. Go ahead.
All right. So, Maria, I really love the fact that you also have a real estate background, which was my first love before so many other things. So, but I wanted to just piggyback off what you had said earlier, talking about women understanding their strengths and all. And I wanted you to touch a little bit about women also trying to prove themselves. So you found yourself in an environment that was male dominated, and you have a lot of women who are constantly, trying to prove themselves and trying to give themselves a sense of purpose, and in the process they're crushing themselves with so many responsibilities. You're a mom, you're a career woman, you're a businesswoman, you're so many responsibilities that they have to hold as women, right? How do women begin to balance their quest to find purpose in life, as well as overcome the imposter syndrome that they struggle with?
I think that's why today is very important, being International Women's Day, because that awareness has to more or less go out further and be, educated to younger generations that just feel like a woman's just supposed to be married and be in her husband's house and have children. Again, I can't stress enough, it does have to start from the families and home, and just believing yourself. If a man can literally do anything, and just to remove men out of it, so it's not like we're rubbing shoulders or, just you as a being, just being a lady, a woman, just knowing that you can actually do all things, have that in mind, and you can always try and fail. The more you fail, the more you can, know your strengths and your weaknesses and succeed further on in life. So I think it's just personal self-accountability, like knowing, okay, I'm not so good at this, so I have to learn further, or I have to push myself a little bit harder, or I am good at this, so this is my field, I'll teach other women. And again, today it's more about women, supporting women not just breaking our weaknesses and shaming each other with our weaknesses, but learning from our weaknesses as well and making it our strength and looking at other people's strength as well, like other women's strength and like learning from them. So it's not a competition because there's always a timeline for everyone to win in life. That's what I believe. So your friends might be winning today and, you know, tomorrow might just be your turn. So it's just loving and supporting each other with strengths and weaknesses all around.
You know, it's interesting you're talking about that waiting your turn and all of that. And I keep wondering, why are women so hostile towards other women? I am blessed to be managing a team of, I don't even know how many women now, you know. And for some strange reason, it has never crossed my mind to feel like, you know, somebody's trying to outshine somebody. But I see that a lot with women because, again, it's important that we are women and we must be honest with ourselves, right? We're fighting for equity, we're fighting for women and all of that. The problem that we have, it is not from men. Do you understand? The biggest problem or the biggest challenge I see us having is women ourselves, right? I see this person, you know, I believe in tapping into people's strength and just forget about their weaknesses. That one no concern.
Likewise.
You know, let's focus on what they are good at and just continue to, you know, push them with what it is that they are good at. But you see, I see a lot of women struggle with that. Why is that so? You know, so and how can we start to better, you know, better encourage and better embrace ourselves as women? Because first of all, we can keep the men aside. They are really not our problem. If we want to really be honest with ourselves, women, we are our biggest problem. So how do we start to do that? What do you think we can do?
Your opinion's great. I disagree.
Okay. I like that you disagree.
Yeah,
Please tell
I
me.
disagree just because I don't want to 100% base our, what did you call it, our envy within each other. I don't want to blame it on solely just men. But men do have their little, you know, say in why women fight each other, or not that, you know, that's something I don't think of ever, it's never been in me to be envious of any other woman. You know, you have your qualities, you have your strengths, and you have your own beauty, you know. One minute you look at a beautiful woman, you walk past another room, you find someone way more beautiful than her, and you know, the beauty just carries on. That's what I believe in. So everyone's unique in their own little ways. But men, on the other hand, again, I'm going to stress family orientation. It starts with, oh, but your elder sister's doing this and she's better at this. You know, it kind of just discourages you. Your parents are already, you know, leveling you up with your elder sister or your little sister, who, you know, there's comparison there. And instead of it encouraging you or making you fight better, you know, your zeal is dead immediately. That's how I function when people bring me down. But then immediately you have to think, no, I am actually Maria Chike and I can do this. And you go ahead and fight for yourself. But it starts with family. And then the other hand is men. Because men are a huge problem in life. I'm joking.
Really?
No, they're not. No, men are amazing. I love men. No, I mean in the fact that, you know, there's competition with marriages, with dating, with siblings even, you know. Some brothers have their favorite female sibling, or because of our
Maria,
ages.
I don't know how you want to coin this thing. When women go, for instance, you know, okay, let's even take beauty, because I can bet you for free that your beauty will be a problem to many people around you, right? Because you are distinctively beautiful. So it's not you're not someone that will walk into a room unnoticed, right?
Okay.
So it is not the men. It is the fellow woman that says, what is Maria doing differently? Which cream is she rubbing? Because they think sometimes it's cream. You know, I mean, I'm just saying to you that if we really want to bridge certain gaps that we see as lapses, right, in amongst women, amongst ourselves, we must first of all learn to embrace ourselves and accept ourselves the way we are. Because when we start to benchmark whether we're more beautiful, benchmark it with this person or this person, we are the cause of our problems. It's not really the men.
So that's why I stated initially, you have to just, you know, like I was saying, you could walk into a room, you see someone more beautiful than you are, or X, Y, Z, it carries on. You can never find a woman who's the most beautiful ever. So everyone has their uniqueness in them. But the reason as to why certain women are envious of others is because, for instance, I could be sat with you, I'm with a husband or a partner, and you walk in and it's like he's looking at you like, wow, who's this lady? She's absolutely stunning. That would affect me, you know, like why are you looking at her? You know, but instead of me just appreciating your beauty to say, wow, you're actually so stunning, I want to be friends with you, I'm more concerned with the fact that whoever I'm with, or even a girlfriend, let's leave men aside. It could actually be girlfriend and girlfriend, you know, we're high school friends and she wants to be friends with you because you're so much more beautiful than her best friend who's just sat next to her. But it could be, we just like something about you. But instead of me to embrace that and want to be friends with you and learn about you or...
It's interesting. I like
That's
your
how
analogy, but I will still put it to you that it is us. Right, because if somebody does that to me, like you rightly said, I'll walk up to you and tell you actually. So we need to learn first of all to appreciate each other. You know where I'm going with this conversation? Because again, sometimes we're talking about how we can build more women in business and leadership. The only way we can do that is to first of all set aside some of these things that stands as barriers and find a way to continue to build. So for instance, there's a business opportunity and I know that I cannot deliver at 100%, but I know Maria can do 110%. Why? What's stopping me from putting her name or mentioning her name for? You know. So that's the thing. If we really must build, right? If we must grow women, if we must begin to bridge some of these gaps that we have, and you know, we need to then start to see it and say, you know what? For every opportunity that I get, so my sister is in a position of leadership, for instance, in our organization, and she makes it as a point of duty that for every time she's given what's it called, a task to hire, if she's hiring 5 people, 3 of those 5 people must be women, and she will go and fish out the competent ones. Do you understand? So if we are very deliberate about all of these things, we'll begin to build more women in roles of leadership, and we'll continue to grow more women businesses, right? So if we start to first of all put aside some of the things that really disturbs us, because I don't understand. I mean, there's beauty, yes, is one of the biggest problems that a lot of women have, because they just feel like, you know what, I think I can be more, I need to look like this person more, and all of that. And I think that's a distraction for a lot of women, because now we're not seeing the real greatness people have. So for instance, we read your CV, you know, someone that has a 2-1, she has a decent, but everybody that keeps on talking about you is just, oh, she's beautiful, and that's, it ends there. I mean, doesn't that even get to you as a woman?
Oh, it bothers me. Yeah, no, seriously.
Yeah, go ahead. So, I mean, so how do we begin to correct that? So how can we be very deliberate about it so that we're not saying that it's only, you know, we need to start to be very intentional about growing those kinds of portfolios for women. That's what I'm going with.
But then when you state what you've stated, then it's not really gender-based, is it? Because you will find males who are likewise doing the same thing in big companies. You could find a man who's in the role of leadership and would just out of jealousy or like just a certain personality that person has or upbringing, not want to put his fellow man who he knows is capable for that.
Men will not do that too.
Men do.
No, I lie.
I believe they do. You think so?
You've not met them.
Oh, I know them.
You know them.
I believe so. I think it's just personality. I wouldn't base that on gender, if you ask me. I think it's individual. It's an individual thing. And again, upbringing does matter a lot. I don't know why I keep talking about family orientation, but I feel like if there's so much love given to children, not just your needs or your wants, but like real love as to how you should share.
How you're raised.
Yeah, how you're raised, how you should share your space, how you should share who you are as a person, and how you should actually love other people. It starts from, you know, your tender age, and once you reach or miss that gap, you just become like the rest of the people in the world.
Okay.
How do you think it should be?
Well, hello.
Okay, so for me, I'm just going to talk about gender equity in business now, for example. So it is widely believed that there's a strong correlation between gender equity and organizational success, right? But then in most cases, by the time you start to get to certain levels, like the managerial levels, now you start to see that there's a whole middle that women are suffering because you get to see fewer women above the managerial levels. It's usually men that you see sitting on the boards, men like the EDs. It's rare. I'm not saying there are no women, but then it's quite rare to see women on boards. And then in most cases, when you even see women there, you find out that that woman has more female enemies in the organization than her male counterparts. And this is, I mean, I have seen this happen in several places. When a woman rises, they are barely, maybe now, because of this other, okay, I'll say my generation now, because we're now beginning to realize that, okay, we're supposed to do this women supporting women things, we're supposed to hold each other's hands and try to, move up and all of that. But then, looking back, there's that hollow middle that is very, very conspicuous. And I think that's why we need to actually embrace this, the theme for this year's IWD, because we need to now understand that when you see another woman climbing up a ladder, it's very important for you to hold on, because it's easier for her to pull you than for a man to pull you. I don't know if you understand what I mean. So yeah, I think that women need to do a better job at supporting each other.
So
Let me bring this to politics now as well, right? It's also playing a very, very huge role, because you see a woman going for certain roles and then you see it's quite difficult.
And who are the voters?
Women, actually.
And they vote for the men.
In most cases.
Let's not discuss politics for the sake of somebody. But Norma, let me come to you.
Well, is it to ask a question? Or?
No, just to make a comment. I think we're actually wrapping up. We ran out of time.
Yeah, I think we've raised really salient points concerning women and how important it is for us to see ourselves first as individuals who have strength and who have great potential, and who have what it takes to be able to change whatever environment that they find themselves, whether it's in the professional or in the community as at large, and how important synergy and being able to work together can be when we are able to leverage on each other's strengths. It makes even for more accomplishments of whatever it is that we put our minds to. And I really like the fact that Maria has pointed out certain areas, the area of family and how important it is, orientation, because really the people that we become in our communities and in our societies, even the women that we see today, were as a result of family orientation, where you have come to believe that you're nothing, or you don't have a voice, or you don't have anything significant to contribute. And it's time for us to begin to fight those ideologies that have been passed on from one generation to the other. Another very key thing that I really like that we were able to point out is the area of mentorship. For a very long time, I didn't have women that I could actually look up to and say that, oh, I would love to be like this person, or I would love to be like that. But across board, you can see men in business, you can see men in IT, in whatever fields and organizations that you see, there are people that you can actually look up to. So if women can begin to rise up to those responsibilities of not just supporting other women, but being the ideal for what women should be, then I think that we would be able to overcome whatever challenges that we find in the workspace.
Oh, wow. Okay. We need to run quickly. Chinelo.
Okay. Good evening, my dear beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? #ways. And happy International Women's Day to you, beautiful ladies. Thank you. Both those in the studio and other ladies. Gender equity for Nigerian women in leadership and business. We thank God for gender equity. Concerning Nigerian women in leadership and business, they really stand out. If we have women contesting for offices in government, trust me, they will deliver. Also, I don't think they will have time to do what men do in government. That is rig their way through during elections. I am a man, but women are a disgrace and embarrassment. I didn't say that.
Yes, sir.
Women I know can deliver and turn things around, if possible, change
run
Nigeria.
out of time.
Your guest is exceptionally beautiful. My
She
name
is.
is Daniel
Aw,
Iloways.
bless him.
Thank
Bless
you,
you,
Daniel.
Daniel.
Someone was
Thank you,
asking
Daniel.
about this, but we ran out of time. But thank you so much, Maria. We hope to bring you back again.
It's such a pleasure being here.
Yeah, we
Thank
have to
you.
talk about something else, but it's not today.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Glory.
Thank
Thank you, Chinela. Thank you,
Thank
Nama.
you,
Now, before we
ladies.
go quickly, ensure you follow us across all our social media handles as PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media, like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. If you missed our quote for today, here it is again. Both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong. It is time that we all perceive gender on a spectrum, not as two opposing sets of ideas. Emma Watson said that. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. It's our ladies' night out, right?
Yeah.
So bring another great conversation to your screen. We might just have a politician amongst us tomorrow.